Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated adult science fiction book releases for 2022, but before we go ahead and get on into the books, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box below for links to all of my social media, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways from me. So I'll be honest, when I was researching for this video, I really struggled finding science fiction and new releases that I was excited about. There are way more than what's on this list, but I'm only including books that I personally found interesting. So take that with a grain of salt. I struggled to find some books, but I have, I think, 6 that I want to share with you guys, but there's definitely more that's going to come out this year, and I'm sure some stuff hasn't even been announced as being released yet. So, but I do have some good ones on this list for sure. So the first book is called Deep Dive. It's by Ron Walters. In this book, we follow a video game developer named Peter, and Peter has not had the best of luck with his developments lately. His company is struggling. He has been working way too much, spending time away from his wife and his daughters, and he's just not really sure how to fix things. One day, his partner asks him to help beta test a new virtual reality video game, and Peter complies, and he ends up finding himself stuck in a world that is very similar to his own, but is not his own. And Peter has to figure out how to get home to his family and what exactly is going on. So when I first read this premise, I'm like, holy cow, that sounds a lot like Dark Matter. So I really enjoyed Dark Matter. I thought it was a really cool concept. So I think that, Deep Dive will probably pique my interest as well. It also reminded me of Ready Player One with the whole virtual reality, the whole, parallel worlds inside the virtual reality. So I think this book is probably going to combine elements from both of those ideas and those stories. So if you're someone that likes Dark Matter, if you're someone that likes Ready Player One, this might be a book for you, and Deep Dive comes out in January. The next book is called Dead Silence, and it's by S.A. Barnes. But in this book, we follow a main character named Claire, and Claire is the captain of this spaceship, and she has just not had a lot of luck getting employment lately. She does repairs on other ships and things like that. One day, her spaceship ends up picking up a distress signal, and they go to investigate, and they come across this luxury space liner that went missing 20 years ago. So she and her team take it upon themselves to enter this spaceship and investigate how this missing ship could have suddenly reappeared in reality. And I've heard that this is a sci-fi horror, so I think that once they get on the ship, a lot of weird stuff is going to go on. There might be some sort of alien species horror elements. So I've never read anything by S.A. Barnes, but it piqued my interest because I don't ever think I've read sci-fi horror, and I'm just getting some creepy vibes from this abandoned ship and someone must still be alive and why'd it go missing for 20 years. So definitely one that I'm looking forward to, and Dead Silence also comes out in January. The next book is the one I think I'm the most interested in, and that is called Mickey 7, and it is by Edward Ashton. But in this book, we follow Mickey 7, and Mickey 7 is an expendable, so he's an employee that is expendable. So he can die, but then he can also be regenerated with the memories and experiences from his previous self. So going by the title, I'm assuming that this is the 7th version of Mickey. These employees are used to colonize new worlds, and currently Mickey is helping colonize this really dangerous world, and he is sent because it is so dangerous and he's expendable, so they use these beings to do such dangerous missions. During this colonization mission, something goes wrong and Mickey 7 is presumed dead. So a Mickey 8 is created, and that is a no-no to have 2 different expendables of the same identity. So Mickey 7 has to do everything he can to keep his existence secret from everybody else. I just thought it was a really cool concept of having these expendable people that new ones can be created with the same ideas and memories. It's kind of like cloning. So I just thought it was a really neat concept, and Mickey 7 comes out in February. The next book, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, is The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. So John Scalzi is a very popular sci-fi author. I've only read one of his books, and I actually really liked it, and I've always wanted to read more John Scalzi ever since and just haven't. In this book, we follow a guy named Jamie, and Jamie loses his job during the COVID-19 pandemic, and he gets an offer from a friend of his who he thinks works for like an animals rights organization. And what he soon learns is that the animals that his friend cares for are not from Earth. In fact, alternate dimensions exist, and there is this planet where these huge dinosaur-type beings still exist, and they roam free and wild, but they're in trouble. And his friend helps care for these beings in this alternate dimension, because it's not just this Kaiju preservation society that's found its way to this other world. Others have too, and they might not have the best interests at heart. It sounds kind of wild, this book. Like, it has Jurassic Park feels to me, but I think there's going to be more to it, especially with like alternate realities and alternate dimensions and alternate worlds. And I'm really curious how Jamie's friend like got involved in this. So the one book I read by John Scalzi was extremely fast-paced and quick to read and get through for a sci-fi, so I'm hoping that the Kaiju Preservation Society is similar, and this book comes out in March. The next book is A Half-Built Garden by Ruthanna Emrys. I hope I'm saying that right. But this is a first contact story. It takes place in the year 2083 on Earth, but it follows a main character named Judy. I don't know what Judy does, but one day she wakes up to like a distress call, kind of, that something is going on in the Chesapeake Bay. They think that like it's been polluted, so maybe like radioactive waste or something. I don't know, the synopsis doesn't say. But Judy investigates, and there are aliens that have arrived on Earth, and they've come to warn humankind that they need to leave Earth. And they are going to try and help them leave Earth. If they choose not to, then they will do it by force, because if not, then humankind will not survive. I think that this is a really interesting kind of flip on a first contact story, because normally aliens come to Earth to harm humans, to invade humans, to try and like explore our resources. But in this case, the aliens are here to help. They know something that we don't. They know that Earth is going to die, that our species is going to become extinct, and they want to try and save us. So I just thought that was a really interesting concept and kind of new way of looking at a first contact novel. A Half-Built Garden's released in July. And the next book I am so excited about, I'm thinking about pre-ordering it, and that is Upgrade by Blake Crouch. This is a new sci-fi thriller from him. He is the author of Recursion and Dark Matter and The Wayward Pines. I read Recursion and Dark Matter and really enjoyed them, and this book just sounds way cool. But this follows a character named Logan, and one day Logan gets injured in an explosion. It sounds like he's a cop and might be on the SWAT team, and ends up getting very injured. In fact, during the explosion, his hazmat gear is punctured, and when he's in the hospital, the doctors tell him that he has been infected by this extremely deadly virus. But there's something weird about this virus. So not only does it make him sick, but it actually alters his genetic code. But in this world, gene editing is a technology that is readily available. There is something known as the Scythe, where people can have their genetics altered in crazy ways. Ironically, Logan ends up being healed from the virus, but some strange things start happening to him. He notices that he is getting smarter and smarter every day, seeing things more clearly, and is even able to go above and beyond the basic understanding that the Scythe has. Logan is slowly morphing into something completely different from who he was originally due to this virus and this genetic coding. And that just sounds freaking awesome, because genetic engineering is a science that we are still learning about and still understanding and still experimenting with. And I think that this book will explore a lot of questions regarding that and some ethical considerations. So I think that this book is incredibly relevant for the time that we're living in, and I cannot wait to read it. Upgrade by Blake Crouch comes out in July. Okay, you guys, those are the adult sci-fi books coming out in 2022 that I am super excited for. Let me know in the comments if you are interested in any of these books or excited about any of them, or maybe some sci-fi new releases that you're excited for that I didn't talk about that's on this list. And I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye!